practice against those guys last week, and it continued to show during the game. So I'm proud of the way our guys played.
The 49ers have their preseason finale Thursday at 5:15 in Texas, taking on the Texans. We've got baseball coming up later today. The Giants are in Detroit at 4:10. The A's are hosting the Marlins at 6:40. At the sports desk, Ted Ramey, KCBS.
Thank you, Ted. The KCBS Sports Desk is sponsored by the Bay Area Chevy Dealers. Visit BayAreaChevroletDealers.com.
When people have a craving to explore new and they head to P.F. Chang's, where scratch-made dishes come from the 2,000-year-old tradition of wok cooking. P.F. Chang's wanted to explore new possibilities for their website. They turned to AmericanEagle.com. AmericanEagle.com re-architected P.F. Chang's website, integrating multiple third-party systems to create a unified digital experience. The results? Improved page speed and performance. Content based on users' location, intuitive online ordering, an increase in organic search visibility, and a 40% increase in new users. For scratch-made Asian cuisine, your local P.F. Chang's or go to pfchangs.com for website design, development, digital marketing that produce efficiency, revenue, and results. Visit AmericanEagle.com. P.F. Chang's and AmericanEagle.com. Another example of the best businesses in the world. Turning to the best in the business for websites, go to AmericanEagle.com or call 877-WEB-NOW1. That's 877-WEB-NOW1.
At Whole Foods Market, get organic red, green, and black grapes for $2.49 a pound through August 23rd, while supplies last.
Nice
Plus, Prime members save an extra 10%. Promotion varies by location type. See terms and exclusions on our app.
At Shane Company, our jewelry consultants don't work on commission, so you'll never feel pressured to buy. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
KCBS News Time, 9:48. The 6-day forecast is coming up, but the traffic watch is first. Kim's in your local Honda dealer's traffic center, and she begins at the San Mateo Bridge. This is the approach to the span. We have a crash here, possible injuries. Again, this is West 92, just before you get to the left lane and the middle lane may be blocked here. Certainly we see stop and go traffic as you first come aboard that span, so do expect at least a brief delay, but it's definitely stop and go at the scene. We are looking at the Bay Bridge, a late backup. We had a late stall, so that's been cleared. That's the good news, but the backup at the toll plaza is extending well east of the MacArthur Maze at this point. One bridge north, still a bit of a backup getting on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. This is of an accident that they did clear it to the San Quentin side, so the bridge recovered. What's left is just a little bit of slow traffic from Canal Boulevard as you make your way out to the toll plaza. Then once you get onto the span, things loosen up considerably. Final clearing stages with this crash in Danville. The KCBS Waze Force says this looks like it's off to the side. This is northbound 680 at El Cerro, but traffic here is still delayed a bit beyond Sycamore Valley Road. Your next update, 9:58 on the traffic leader, KCBS. Mancini Sleep World 6-day forecast now with Jessica Birch joining us from the KPIX5 Weather Center.
It's starting to calm down for us as we head into the rest of this week's forecast. We started off yesterday pretty toasty off in those East Inland Hills, even off in the Santa Clara Valley for that matter, but now we're starting to see temperatures range right back to average. San Francisco's getting up to 68 today, 74 in Oakland, 84 in San Jose. Partly cloudy skies for us this morning. We'll start seeing a lot more sunshine as we head into the afternoon, but even far inland East Bay, now we're starting to see the low 90s. Those low 90s off into the North Bay from Sonoma all the way into Napa. By Wednesday, even Thursday, though, we're going to start seeing with the low 80s as we head into the weekend, all the way up there too, even some upper 70s. As for the coast, it's always in the low 60s across the board, even as we extend into the weekend forecast. So we'll keep you updated on that here in the Weather Center. Starting to look very nice as we extend into the rest of the week. I'm meteorologist Jessica Birch with your KCBS KPIX5 First Alert Forecast.
We've got traffic and weather together on the 8th on all 1069 and AM 740 KCBS. KCBS News Time 9:51. Fernie Beyer and Vivian Bosu Skinner are at the KCBS editor's desk. Researchers have taken a look at whether Oakland's Slow Streets program, instituted because of COVID, made the streets safer. KCBS's Chris Ancarlo reports the finding of a new study are complicated.
The top line findings are that we got really mixed results from neighborhood to neighborhood.
Gordon Douglas is a professor of urban and regional planning at San Jose State. He says some neighborhoods showed an embrace of the Slow Streets program.
And in many other parts of the city, we found, no being used in that way.
Researchers went to 7 street segments 8 different times to track how the streets were being used.
So they were marking down every, dog walker who came by, everybody who was pushing a stroller, everybody who was riding a bike, and then they'd mark down every car.
They also compared traffic speed data before and after the program started. They found that already had a culture of shared streets were more open to the program.
The thing about where it didn't work is, we're left to kind of wonder what the difference was.
He says the slow streets were generally popular, and if something similar is tried again, perhaps there should be more outreach to encourage buy-in along streets less amenable to the program. Chris Ancarlo, yes.
The FBI is warning Bay Area businesses about a ransomware attack known as Zeppelin. We get details from KCBS's Jim Taylor.
Maybe most disturbing about this ransomware, it follows a trend. The big crime syndicates, in this case Zeppelin, farming out its dirty work to freelancers. Elvis Chan, FBI.
If you're familiar with fast food franchises, there's a corporate entity. In this case, it's the Zeppelin Criminal Syndicate. And they have figured out a way to expand selling the access to control panels so that other people can also conduct ransomware attacks.
Then a notice like this shows up on the desktop of company computers. Hello, your company has been hacked. Your files are encrypted. A ransom demand is made, and the note says if we fail to come to an agreement, we will be forced to hand over all your files to the media.
This is an unfortunate democratization of criminality that we are seeing, and it can literally be a 16-year-old in their mother's basement.
Ransom demands are known to be sometimes more than $1 million. Jim Taylor, KCB.
A 21-year-old student from New Zealand still is recovering from a fall she took at Yosemite National Park. Anna Parsons was rock climbing on August 1st when her foot slipped on Snake Dyke. That's a classic route to the top of Half Dome. She fell some 80 feet, broke nearly all the bones in her body, and sustained a leg injury so severe that her limb eventually had to be amputated below the knee. Parsons tells SF Gate her helmet was in pieces, but the good news is her head wasn't hurt at all. The family now is facing some astronomical medical bills, with the cost of care already exceeding $1 million, and that is far more than the insurance Parsons bought to cover her trip. It is Money Watch time on KCBS, and for that we turn to Jason Brooks.
It's time for the KCBS Mortgage Rate Watch, sponsored by Fremont Bank, the Bay Area's premier mortgage lender. Home builders aren't feeling very good about the economy. The National Association of Home Builders Sentiment Index for territory for only the second time in 8 years, including a dip at the start of the pandemic. The association says tighter monetary policies in the federal and persistently elevated construction costs have brought on a housing recession. High-end is also feeling the pinch, down 2% in the second quarter from a year earlier, following a boost early in the pandemic. Custom homes make up 18% of all single-family starts, a number that peaked at 31% in 2009. Current sales conditions, expectations for the next 6 months, and buyer traffic were all higher levels in July, and 1 in 5 builders reported cutting prices in the past month to increase sales or reduce cancellations. The NAHB says single-family home starts will decline in 2022 for the first time since 2011. Jason Brooks, KCBS.
And the 30-year fixed rate is up at 5.72%. The 15-year fixed rate is up at 5.02%. We'll take another look at your KCBS traffic that's coming up in just 2.5 minutes.
At Fremont Bank, we know home mortgage rates can vary from lender to lender. Some offer no closing cost loans, some have points and fees options. But here, we offer both. We have a range of offers for you to choose from, plus perks that add value to help make your home buying or refinancing process as quick and easy as possible. With our team of experts who know the Bay Area market up and down, your mortgage process just got a whole lot better. Learn more at FremontBank.com. NMLS 478471, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com. Tell your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
If you want to start the semester strong, Staples has you covered.
A gaming chair for my dorm. I mean, the desk chair for studying.
Staples has you covered.
A better way to organize my stuff instead of using milk crate.
A desk lamp to help me pull all-nighters?
Staples has you covered with remote workspace solutions. And now get 25% off desks, filing and storage solutions, lighting and decor with the purchase of any chair. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 9/24, in-store only.
ERC Employee Retention Credit. This is where the federal government will give employers up to $26,000 per qualified employee. So if you had 10, that would be up to over $250,000. If you had 20, up to just over $500,000, so on. And there's two different ways to qualify. Blind chain, a lot of people think you have to have both. And a lot of people were told, even by their CPAs, that if your gross revenue wasn't down by a certain amount, you didn't qualify. Not true. There's a different independent way to qualify. It's either or. Bottom line is, you can just contact us. We'll tell you if you qualify. And if you do, let's get your free money from the federal government. It's a grant. That means you don't pay it back. It's not a loan. It's yours to do it as you please. 888-TAX-DEAL. That's 888-TAX-DEAL. 888-TAX-DEAL. Or MoskowitzLLP.com. MOSKWITZLLP.com.
KCBS News Time 9:58. Let's head back over to your local Honda dealer's traffic center for an update on this very busy drive from Jim Wonderly. We have problems with the San Mateo Bridge. This crash, it looks like now CHP is telling us that the 3 left lanes are blocked. This is westbound 92 right before you get to the toll plaza of the San Mateo Bridge. 3 left lanes blocked. They've issued a traffic advisory. It looks like there may be injuries in this crash. We're already backed up from Clawwater, so some stop and go getting on the span. Once you're on the bridge, though, traffic's at the speed limit the rest of the way to the peninsula. Much better news on the Richmond-San Rafael Bridge. Earlier crash long cleared, just a little bit of slow traffic left at the tolls. Also better news coming up through Danville. Lanes have opened. We had by a multi-car crash. This was northbound on 680 at El Cerro. There's still a bit of slow traffic coming up from Sycamore Valley Road, but traffic is definitely improving here. Bay Bridge lingering backups this morning. It's been one thing after another, but we're still left with traffic. Arthur Interchange out to the toll plaza. Dave Fouts is up next. His first update at 10:08 on the traffic leader, KCBS. Mostly sunny skies expected throughout the afternoon today. A little bit of haze in the air and highs getting into the 60s and 70s at the beaches, 70s and 80s by the bay, and into the low to mid 90s inland. We've got traffic and weather together on the 8th on All News 106.9 and AM 740 KCBS. Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022, coming up on KCBS. I'm Jennifer Hodges with more on the class action lawsuit filed against Kaiser over COVID testing.
And this is Matt Bigler. An autopsy what is believed to be the body of missing Truckee teenager Kylie Rodney.
And 2 men are found guilty of conspiring to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Melissa Colross. CBS News covers the world next.
When you need to know, KCBS AM, KFRC FM, and HD1, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, and Odyssey Station.
CBS News on the Hour, presented by Indeed.com.
I'm Steve Kafen. Key primary voting today in 2 states. In Florida, it's a Democratic panel to pick a challenger for incumbent Republican Governor Ron DeSantis. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns.
There are 2 top Democrats fighting today to take him on. That's Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Fried and former Republican Governor turned Democratic Congressman Charlie Crist. But DeSantis is beating them both in the
Scott McFarland says in New York, 2 incumbent House Democrats are squaring off.
In Manhattan, redistricting has forced Powerful Oversight Committee Chair Carolyn Maloney to run against Judiciary Committee Chair Jerry Nadler. Upstate, here in Clintondale, in New York's 19th district, it's a special election. Abortion rights, a big issue in the final days. Could be an indication of how big that issue will be in November.
A Michigan jury has found 2 men guilty in the plot to kidnap the state's Democratic governor. CBS's Jim Krasula.
Federal prosecutors described the plot as a rallying cry for a U.S. civil war by anti-government extremists. It was the second trial for Adam Fox and Barry Croft Jr. after a jury in April could not reach a unanimous verdict. 2 other men were acquitted and 2 more pleaded guilty in the kidnapping plot.
Well, there's a major cleanup in the Dallas area as floodwater begins to recede after torrential rain sparked fierce flooding. KTVT reporter J.D. Miles covered some of the rescues.
Family members of those waiting for rescue included Luvia High rifle. She remained calm even though her 3 children were with